Hey everybody, this is Simon from Sound Rocket Studios. Welcome back after so much time. This is the follow-up of the review of the Asparion D700FT and D700S combo that you can see right here. We are currently in Ableton and I wanted to show you how this thing works inside of Ableton, as this is one of the main DAWs that you can use with this controller. Before anything, the thing you have to do is open up the Asparion configurator, select your controller and select live in the active preset. Mine is already selected and now you are close to ready to use it inside of Ableton Live. You just have to open up the preferences to go into link, tempo and MIDI as the control surface, selecting in the inputs and in the outputs. And to select the controller, then tick all this one that you can see right here and you're ready to go. As you can see, we have these two channels that are audio and at the volume at 0. And you can perfectly see them right here. Let's start from the easy stuff. We're going to create some tracks. As you can see, and as already explained, the color of the rotaries pretty much follow what is on the screen. And as you erase or create a track, the controller follows instantly. The fader control is pretty much spot on. You can see, and there should be no delay in that. So we have faders, rotaries that can go back to 0. We have mute, which in Ableton is seen as a turn off of the channel number. Record to arm tracks. Select if you want to select them by the controller. And this also happens if you do it the other way around. So if you select a channel on the screen, as you can see on the controller, it follows perfectly. Then we have stop, start. As you can see right here, the track is started. Record. That we can launch after obviously arming a track. This rotary right here, as explained on the review of the controller, is a volume rotary. Then let's check out the other simple stuff. This turns on and off the metronome. This turns on and off the loop right here. If you have enough tracks, you can use these ones to move between pages. And again, as explained on the review of the controller, this is not completely instant, as you can see, but it has a great feeling, I would say. It feels like it's moving in a professional way. I would say this is just half a second of a delay or something like that, but nothing that bothers me. We're gonna explain this one later, but just to let you know, this was the pen view. So this is the usual 0-point setup that you have when using the controller, and it's probably the one that you're going to use the most if you're talking about mixing, so fader control and rotaries. The name of the tracks obviously does follow. And let's go ahead with the second setting, which is EQ. This doesn't bring on the EQ, but it's not a fault of Asparion. It's because in Ableton, you don't have a specific EQ that is set for the channel and always on, like you have maybe in Cubase or in Logic. So when pressing EQ, you're actually controlling the inputs and the outputs of that specific track. We are currently working and selecting channel number 7, but this is not a setting that works specifically for channels. So this is another page of controls that you have. You are controlling the inputs and outputs of every track that you have in view. And if you move between pages, you're gonna check out the inputs and outputs of other tracks, so you can change multiple at a time. We are currently working on an audio track, and when rotating, you can see we are changing this input right here that can go from resampling to the inputs and outputs that I have in my audio track, the reverb and delay return, the master, or no input at all. After selecting a specific audio or return track, you will probably want to select if you want it post-mixer, post-effects, or pre-effects, and you can do this pressing EQ again. We're currently seeing this row right here, and that's why you don't see anything around here, because for channel number 5, for example, we don't have a specific input selected from the audio interface. When pressing EQ again, guess what? We can select what output do we want. Currently is all set up to master, and if we rotate this, we're working on the output of channel number 5 that is currently going into channel number 3. Last row control is this down here, and guess what? Pressing EQ moves you specifically to that control right here, which currently has no possibility apart from track in. Pressing EQ again, you're going to move up to the input section again, where you can select, for example, no input at all for all the tracks. You may be asking, do you have the possibility to control this one to set if we want the monitor to be in, auto, or off? And actually, I wasn't able to find out how to do this, but I already wrote an email to the guys at Asparion, and we'll be following with the news in the comment section. So leave us a comment if you want to be updated. The send section is pretty much what you would expect, but as you can see, this doesn't look like we are working on send A and then another row of send B. Yes, because the send A and send B that we are controlling now are the ones on the channel that we are selecting on the screen or that we selected before. So going back to the pen section, we can select maybe channel number 6, then go to send and control the A reverb or B delay for that specific channel. When pressing it again, nothing happens, but we can move between tracks and control the send A and B for every one of them. And if we create another return track right here, we can control the send of that too. I love the fact that this keeps on getting pretty damn visual because as you can see, as I set up the controller, I just have the ring light right there, and it follows pretty much spot on what we have on screen because currently I am at max and that white light is right there. And if I move just a tiny bit, I don't know if you can see it, but it moves in a very cool way. And pressing the rotaries brings them back to 0, obviously. After pen, EQ, and send, the last control page is effects. And it will be pretty good if we have a way to control our plugins, don't you think? Well, let's just put some audio effects on this specific channel, for example. We're gonna put a compressor right here. Then we're gonna put an EQ8, the classic and good EQ8, and then a simple utility to control the volume or similar. Going back to the controller, few things happened. The ring light turned completely on for the rotaries 1, 2, and 3. Channel number 4 keeps being selected, and you can see the name of the effects on the screen. But what happens then? What can we do? Rotating, nothing seems to happen. So maybe pressing, we have full control of the vast majority of the parameters of the controller, and I am currently controlling the compressor attack, release, and oh, maybe I did something wrong. Let's set up the threshold at 0 again. Boom! All the rotaries are still pushable and bring back the value to 0. But what happens with the parameters like auto that are just an option on or off? You can use the rotary or the button of the rotary to select it. And with my finger on, you wouldn't be able to see it, so I'm gonna press it like this. You can see that with the light on the left, we have the auto to off, and pressing again, the light goes on the right. And the controller release is now set to auto. And pressing again the effects button brings you back to the original effects section of the specific channel you are on. But you may be asking, how would I be able to control more than these 8 stupid small parameters that I have right here? Well, as explained in the manual of this amazing controller, for Ableton in this case, we can use the bank right button to flip between pages of parameter controllable. That is really, really good. And we are super happy for that because it would have been really sad to not have control on more than 8 parameters. So yeah, it's really great to have an effects section that is pretty much direct because let's say you are working and you're mixing and you want to select the channel number 3, then I can check out which effects I have on. I don't have any, so I'm gonna put one right here and one right there, and let's say, yeah, again, I want to control the utility. Oops, I don't do that. I don't have to select the channel, but I click on the rotary and then I can do everything I want from here, then go back and select the other effects, then jump back to the pen section. Yeah, maybe we need to pan this right here. Let me record you and let me control it pre-effects because I want to send some effects to you so that you can hear yourself back. So again, we're checking out channel number 4. So, okay, let me regulate that. Okay, great. And let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, record. Thank you, Mike, for recording with me. And thank you guys for checking this out. The last thing that we have to check when talking about buttons and the control surface itself is this button right here. This magic button brings you to the return tracks. So now here we can control the track called Hello and regulate its volume and maybe control the volume of the track C return. And pressing it again brings you back to the original page that you have before. So if you were in the pen page, pressing it, Repressing it again, we're back to the pan page. The last thing that I want to show you is something that has to do with the double click function that, as explained in the review, is present for everything that you can see of the controller. So the buttons, the rotaries, the encoder click function, I don't know how to say it, and it has to be configured not here directly inside of Ableton, but here in the Asparion configurator. So when inside of this, you can click on codes, and then all of these can be remapped to whatever you want, lights included, because this is the column of the buttons or the rotaries, and this is the column for the light or light position. So as an example, I just switched the function of the magic button to the flip function. So if we go in here and we have this track that has a panning maybe set completely left, and this one is still in the middle, and we click this, have a look at that. This is the channel with the panning completely on the left, and this has the panning in the middle, and we can change this, and obviously Ableton follows through. Clicking that again removes the flip function, and we are still controlling volumes and pannings. Knowing that this bank button works for moving between pages of controllable parameters of the effects, we could maybe use the other bank button to go back to the plugin page, as I did right here. So this is not a single click function as right here, but a double click function as specified here. Don't forget to turn the function you're changing on with this column right here, which says enabled. So with bank right, we have the movement between the pages of the effects controlled, and with the bank left, I set it to be assigned plugin page. So if we go here and maybe we check a channel with a plugin on like this one, so we could maybe be in the effects section with the EQ and then control some specific parameters, then double click this one and go back to the effects list, then compressor, move between pages, change the dry wet maybe, and back to the effects section again, back to the EQ. So you can see it gets pretty fast when you can completely remap everything you want. And so guys, what else would I have to say apart from thanking you for staying here with me and checking this amazing controller out. A great build, great controller, great buttons, great rotaries, great faders, amazing fader actually. And yeah, this was the walkthrough in Ableton, but we're gonna test this out in other DAWs also. Is there a specific DAW that you would like this to be controlled on? Is there something that you want to know more about the Ableton use of this one? Let us know in the comment section below. And for now everybody, thank you again. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Simon from Rocket Studios. Ciao!